We are the Arcturian Group, January 18, 2015. Channeled by Marilyn Raffaele. Website, onenessofall.com. Greetings, dear ones. We come to say that much is happening on your planet that cannot yet be seen with physical eyes. However, you are beginning to feel change in the energy of your personal world as well as on the universal level. You may begin to notice more camaraderie among those around you, a sense of oneness that did not seem to be there before. You may notice it within some group you are familiar with, like a club you belong to or in family gatherings. You will notice more unity and less sense of separateness. These changes are the result of the high resonating light now pouring onto Earth and available to all who are receptive. Every particle of light feeds the consciousness of an awakening world. Many who were previously oblivious or blindly accepting of world conditions, now find themselves to be more aware, and quickly growing weary of the constant bickering and adolescent behavior of so many self-serving world leaders. Seeing with new eyes, they are beginning to take note of those who serve only to feed their pockets. The eyes of mankind are opening and personal power is beginning to be reclaimed. Thus, as society awakens, it automatically begins to move into its power. Even a small thing like signing a petition helps to activate world energy into new directions. It is not about giving energy to some negative appearance, but rather it is about taking whatever human footsteps may assist others to notice, on their level of awareness. You are in the midst of awakening to who you are, realizing that you are and never were less than those who hold power of some sort or another. Appearances will not change until you change them, for the outer manifestations you see simply represent the consensus consciousness of the majority, which at this time is still heavily enmeshed in duality and separation. The whistleblowers of the world are courageous souls, not to be reviled as many would have you believe. They are helping to awaken those who blindly accept everything they are told, the sleeping ones who have given away their power to those claiming to own it. Despite personal danger to themselves, they speak words that need to be heard. Those who stand to lose personal power or wealth from this information would have you believe that these people are criminals. No, they are serving to assist the people of the world to wake up, open their eyes, and hopefully take back their power. Do what you can each day to awaken others, but never in a preaching or proselytizing way. It must be done with love and kindness and respect for the other's belief system. Often it is not words, but simply your energy field filled with light that helps to awaken another who is receptive. Speak the deeper truths only when guided to, when a person is ready to hear or is seeking truth, always trusting your intuition. We wish to speak of trust, a very misunderstood word. Trust in its truest sense reflects a state of consciousness able to rest in awareness, living the experiences of each moment from center, which often appears to the world as a doing nothing. In reality, doing nothing is to hold blind faith in some concept, person, or thing, which is often seen as trust. Blind faith comes from accepting third-dimensional concepts of God, angels, saints, or even the government without question, simply because it is what you have been told. Blind faith is ignorance, dear ones, and represents the surrendering of personal power to an unknown something deemed to have power. It is not trust. This is not to say that the angels and beings of light are not there to assist you, but to assist you, not do the work for you. Trust is the natural offspring of a state of consciousness imbued with spiritual truth, and not dogma or rites and rituals handed down and accepted from generation to generation. Trust is the living out from and resting in a consciousness aware and knowledgeable of what is real and spiritually true. Trust simply becomes natural at a certain level of awareness, but is never attained through forever looking outside of oneself, for no matter how much the teacher or path may be revered by society, at a certain point the spiritual journey must become a solo one, a shift to one's own center. This is not to say that you will never be guided to some book, class, or teacher along the way, but it is to say that you must always listen to your intuition, and when something feels finished, don't be afraid to leave it and move on. Many paths and teachings are only needed for a short while, steps along the way to be left behind at some point, which then allows new and higher phases of the journey to begin. Trust manifests as the student learns to withdraw energy and power from outside forces and place it where it is, in divine oneness. Trust is aware of what is, Instead of 3D concepts of what is, the journey through third-dimensional lifetimes has been a stepping and falling, but at some point growth begins to come by grace and fear dissolves. The spiritual student finally understands who and what he is, and is able to rest in that awareness. This is trust. All of you are ready for this, dear ones. All of you are spiritually aware on levels enabling you to begin living, moving, and having your being in true trust. It is only the world's continued dependence on concepts and beliefs that keeps it in bondage. Trust lifts the burdens from your personal back and removes the mental drive to do, which is the focus of intellectual thinking as well as can be found in many metaphysical teachings. The metaphysical protocols were necessary in the beginning, and are still important for the newly awakening, but you are no longer beginners. You have completed that phase and are ready to shift from the do mentality into be. Now it is about growing beyond the metaphysical, taking a bad picture and making it into a good picture, and moving into mysticism, the conscious realization that in reality nothing needs changing. Rites and rituals serve their purpose, but for most of you, are finished. The journey is now about a consciousness shift, transferring power from the without to the within, whether the without be good or bad. Every belief in some power outside of yourselves must be let go of, and each letting go helps release you from any bondage to it. Know that even good appearances are concepts. Letting go of something does not mean you cannot or will not ever again enjoy the finer things of life, nor does it mean you cannot take part in some religious ceremony or service. It simply means that you no longer imbue these things with a power they do not have, whether over you or for you. You begin to see the reality behind all appearances and understand the truths being represented through rites and ritual, knowing that in and of themselves they have no power, because the outer is an expression of one state of consciousness. As he shifts from a consciousness of duality and separation into a consciousness of truth and oneness, he will find that the outer forms begin to manifest in new and higher ways. Never fear the loss of something, for if you carry the substance of it in consciousness, it will reappear, often in some new and better form. For example, an attained consciousness of wholeness and completeness often manifests outwardly in simple things, like finding the perfect parking spot, but can and does also manifest as the right partner, job, or new order and peace in your life. Mind is the interpreter of one's state of consciousness, translating it into forms appropriate for each individual. If living alone represents wholeness for someone, their attained consciousness of completeness will not manifest outwardly as a partner. Likewise, a consciousness imbued with concepts and beliefs of duality and separation must appear as experiences of both good and bad. Duality. This is the purpose of the physical, emotional, and mental clearings you are experiencing now. Even those awake and evolved still carry cellular memories from past lifetimes lived fully in a consciousness of duality and separation, and these need to be released and cleared. You are ready. We are the Arcturian group.